Hi there, today I'm going to show you a quick and easy card that we made at the Ronald McDonald House this weekend. This card uses a stamp set called Lacy and Lovely, and we're actually going to use all of these images and one of the greetings. It's a pretty versatile set. We're going to start with Whisper White cardstock. We're going to use Calypso Coral. Remember, on these new ink pads, you just tap, press firmly on the paper. All of the images in that stamp set have a punch that match. This image here goes with our 1 3/8 circle punch. You're just going to slide that up, hold the punch in one hand, your paper in the other, line it up. You can give it a half squeeze to hold the paper so you can check to see that it's lined up, and then pop it out. And we'll do the other images as well. So we have all of our little pop-ups ready to go. We're going to stamp the greeting. And again, we're going to go to the basic gray and we're just going to tap. I've already checked to make sure that my greeting is on the acrylic block straight, but if you want to check it on your grid paper, just use the line of the acrylic block to one of the lines on the grid paper, and then that'll tell you if it's on there straight. So there's our greeting. We're going to add a little strip of the Designer Series paper. The Designer Series paper that we're using is called I Am Me. All the colors that I pulled for these little images here came from the stripes. We're just going to run the adhesive around all the edges. You can also use your grid paper to help you line up this little strip too. So just line up the edge of your card to the lines on the grid paper, and then that'll give you a little bit of a guide so you're not going to be crooked here. We kept this card fairly simple for the make and take at the Ronald McDonald House because sometimes we have pretty young kids that are stamping with us, but for today we're going to add a little bit of sparkle and some extra dimension. So I want to add a strip of our glimmer paper, the silver glimmer paper, and I've cut just a little bit of a sliver. It's probably about 1/8 of an inch wide. And the best way to add this is with the Tombow multi-purpose adhesive. So you want to give that a shake and make sure the adhesive is all the way down to the tip. And then I just squiggle just a little line right across here. You don't want to have a big glob of it, because it's going to spread a little bit when you add that silver glimmer paper. So I'm just kind of sketching it across the top there. So you can see that I have a really thin layer of adhesive. So now when you lay your glimmer paper, you're just going to put it directly on top, and it's actually pushing up against that Designer Series paper. So it's not overlapping, so you can kind of feel it hit the edge of the paper. And just hold it down for a couple of seconds, and you're good. So just that little bit will keep that stuck down, and it just gives it a nice little bit of sparkle there. So it's a little bit long here, so I'm just going to turn that over to the back and trim that off. So now we can pop these guys up on dimensionals, and you guys know I'm pretty generous with dimensionals. For this big one, I'd probably use 5, and then I'm just going to place it right about here. This little guy is going to go directly on top. Probably 3 for this one is good. And this is just going to go right over the center. I would use 3 for this one too. And then 1 for the smallest one. Before I place this one down, I'm going to add a little row of piercing right across the top. So I'm just going to set that one aside for now. And we'll add that in just a minute. So it's really easy to add a row of piercing. Just use this large piercing mat. Open up your card. Line this up. I like to line up that one row of dots right above the edge of the Designer Series paper. I'm going to pierce the row directly under it. So that first row of holes is on top of the DSP, And that second row is where I'm going to be piercing. So just use your piercing tool. And you're just going to start at one end and work your way across. So you can see how that adds that nice little detail of piercing across the top of your card. And after I've done that, I've kind of decided I want to add some piercing to this blue part here. So it's not that difficult to pull it up when it's popped up on dimensional. So I'm just going to lift that up, and I'm just going to add a little bit of piercing right inside the circles right there. There's not a template for that, but you can easily line that up. You're just going to be poking right through here. So now I can add this back to the card, and it just has that little extra detail of piercing around that flower. So just another way to add some dimension to your card. So now we can stick this guy down, and I went off the paper here, and I'm going to go off the DSP up here as well. And then this last little guy is going to go right here, and I've punched out a little butterfly using the bitty butterfly punch, and I put a little piece of dimensional on each wing, but I left the paper so it's not sticky. I left that covered, and I have a glue dot right in the center. The glue dot is what's going to hold that down. Okay, so I'm going to place my butterfly right over there. I chose that spot because I've got my greeting here and I kind of wanted something over in that area. So now I want to add some rhinestones. Since I've got my pokey tool out, I like to use that to lift the rhinestones off of the sheets. Make sure you get under the adhesive so you don't leave it behind. We're going to put the largest one right in the center here. I'm going to take the medium one right in the center here. And the smallest one right about there. I think I'm going to place them right here. I was thinking about there, but I think they might get lost. So I'm going to put it right here at the base of those points, and I'm going to use the tiniest ones. Okay, so we're all done, and you can see we have a nice, pretty, sparkly card with lots of dimension with the piercing on this large image here and across the top as well. So I hope you enjoyed these projects. For more ideas, you can find me at KeenanCreations.com. Thanks and have a great day.